Novella Virtual Academy, Mr. N, Algebra 1, Unit 6, Part 1 of your lesson. We're talking about ratios, right? Yesterday in class, we covered, the basics. We solved a few problems. This video should help you, move on, and should help you to solve more ratio problems, right? Let's see problem number 16 and 18 from your book. Find the ratio of m to n. Give your answer in decimal and fraction form. Okay, problem number 16. 1 over 16m equals 1 over 15n. What can we do? Remember, you have to find the ratio of m to n, which is actually m over n. Okay? First step, I'm trying to isolate my m on the left side here. And because its coefficient is 1 over 16, I will multiply by its reciprocal. Okay? And you multiply by its reciprocal both sides. So each side of your equation here gets multiplied by 16 over 1. Well, on the left side, 16 and 16, 1 and 1 cancel out. You're left only with 1m equals 1 over 15 times 16 over 1 will be 16 over 15 times n, right? Final step here, because you need to find m over n, you will divide everything by n, or you will multiply by 1 over n, which is the same thing, right? What you get, left side, 1 times m is m, everything over n, equals 16 over 15. And here n and n are canceling out. Maybe you want to mention a restriction here that n has to be different than 0. Okay? And this is all about problem number 16. Now, if you want to give your answer in decimal form, you can move on and divide your 16 by 15 and find what is that. Okay? Problem number 18. First step, divide everything by 11. Right? 11 divided by 11 is 1. You have m equals 12.1 over 11 times n. Next step, divide everything by n, which means multiply by n's reciprocal, which is 1 over n. On the left side, you have m over n equals, n and n cancels out here, right? 12.1 over 11. Now, if you don't want to leave it like that, you should simplify it, right? Or basically, one of the basic rules in algebra is that you cannot leave a decimal in your fraction, so you should change that. And how to do that? You multiply both top and bottom by 10, and you find that your m over n is actually 121 over 110. Okay, what you guys notice here, 121 and 110 are divisible by 11. You can divide both by 11, and now you have your ratio m to n equals 121 divided by 11 is 11, 110 divided by 11 is 10. Okay, and if you want, you should move on and give the second part of your required answer in a decimal form. M over n in this case will be what? 1.1. That was an easy one, right? Okay, how about another problem? For this set of problems, you have to solve, okay, but you're required to define your variables for the unknowns, write an equation, solve the equation, and give your answer in a complete sentence. Problem number 20 says what? The ratio of two numbers is 5 over 22. Okay, the product of the numbers is 440. Find all possible pairs of numbers. And if this will be a constructed response, you will start with point or part A, right? And you will say, let my first number be m, the first number. Let n, the second number. Okay, so what do we know? The ratio of these two numbers is 5/22. Now you can move on to the second part. B m over n equals 5/22. Okay. What else do you know? Well, they're telling us that the product of my numbers here is 440, right? So I know that m times n equals 440. Alright? So these are the equations that you're going to use here to find the possible pairs for your numbers. Okay? So we have the equation that models our problem. We need to solve it, right? So we'll move on to subpart or part C, if you want to call it that one. For part C, you have to use the two equations that are given to you, and one way to solve this one will be to substitute any one of your numbers into the second one, right? How about finding or solving the first one for n? What I'm going to do, I will multiply both sides by n, and this gives me that m. Now here on the left, n and n are canceling out. Once again, you're going to say that n is different than 0, right? And I have m equals 5/22 times n. Now this one, I will substitute it in my second equation here, and well, instead of m, right? Not instead of m. Hold on. So wherever you have m in the second one, you're going to plug that 5/22n. So you'll have 5/22n, this is your m, times n equals 440. Now, n times n is going to be n squared. But to solve for n, I will multiply everything by 22/5. Okay. Multiply the other side by 22/5. 22 divided by 22 is 1. 5 divided by 5 is 1. On the left side, you have n squared equals 440 times 22/5. Well, first of all, 5 goes in 440 how many times? 5 goes in 44 8 times, in 40 8 times. Okay. So your n squared will be 88 times 22, and I will not multiply that. I'm just noticing that 88 is actually 4 times 22. So if you multiply 88 by 22, you actually get 4 times 22 times 22, which is 22 squared. Okay? And now to find n, your n squared equals 4, which is 2 squared, times 22 squared. To find n, you will take the square root of both sides, right? Your n, because square root of n squared is n, will be equal plus or minus what? Let me show you here. Square root of 2 squared times 22 squared will be equal to square root of 2 squared times square root of 22 squared, which is what? 2 times 22. Okay, so your n will be plus or minus 44. And now your possibilities for m, okay, will be, first, if n equals 44, m will be 5/22 times 44, which is what? Well, 22 goes in 44 2 times, that will be 10. Okay, And the other possibility for your m will be given by the case in which your n equals negative 44, which gives your m as equal what? 5 over 22, I'm using this part here, this equation, times negative 44, and that will be negative 10, right? And these are the answer. These are the pairs of your two numbers. First pair will be what? Well, let's start with m first, right? M 10, n 44. Okay. And the other pair will be m negative 10 and n negative 44. And you can check, is the ratio 5 over 22? I think so, because 10 over 44 will be 5 over 22. We divide each one by 2, right? The same story with the other one, and their product is also 440. And you are done. Okay? You will give your answer in a complete sentence. You know, the two numbers are 10 and 44, or negative 10 and negative 44. Alright, I hope it makes sense. The ratio of two numbers is 2 to 1. Alright, so as in the previous problem, you're going to say, let, I don't know, x be the first number. Let y be the second number. Okay? You write our equation. What is the equation? The sum of the numbers is 9. Well, first of all, the ratio. So x over y is 2 over 1. Their sum is 9/4. X plus y equals 9 over 4. Find the two numbers. Okay? Well, let's start with the ratio here. Let me change the column with this ratio, right? Well, x over y is 2 to 1 implies that they have a common factor, let's call it n, right? That when you divide x by y, it gets cancelled out. But this allows me to say that x will be equal to 2 times that greatest common factor, right? And you may say n is the greatest common factor of x and y. Okay? And also y will be equal to 1 times n, right? It seems that, you know, actually y is the greatest common factor in here, and you may say that actually x equals to y, right? Which means in the second equation, wherever I have x, I can write 2y, and now your equation, this equation here, becomes 2y plus y equals 9 over 4. Alright? Which gives you what? 3y equals 9 over 4. Now to find your y, you will divide everything by 3. Okay, you multiply this one by 1/3, because that's what happens when you divide by 3. 3 goes in 9 3 times, and it looks like your y is actually equal to 3/4. Okay, well, if y is 3/4, your x will be 2 times 3/4, and your x will be equal to what? 2 times 3/4. Well, 2 and 4 could be divided by 2, right? You have a cross cancellation here. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 4 divided by 2 is 2. And that gives your y, your x, I'm sorry, as 3/2, or 1.5. And you can check, alright? You can check, is the ratio 2 to 1? Is x divided by y equal to 2 over 1? Is their sum 9/4? I think it is, right? And we basically had C part right there. Okay? And this this is how you're going to do it. Let's try another one. The sides of an isosceles triangle have a 5 to 5 to 8 length ratio. The perimeter is 26 inches. Find the side lengths, okay? Well, obviously, will always help, you know, to put this triangle in front of you. Isosceles triangle, you guys remember, implies that two of the sides are congruent. Let's call two of them, you know, A, or length A, and the other one B. So now I know that A divided by B, or the ratio of A to B, is actually 5 to 8. Okay? Now, the ratio is 5 to 8, which means, you know, these two numbers have a greatest common factor of let's call that, I don't know, m, okay, that eventually cancels out when you try to find the ratio. But I can write each one of them, A as 5m, B as 8m. What is that, how is that going to help me? Well, the next fact that the problem is giving you is that, you know, the perimeter of this triangle is 26 inches. And how do you find the perimeter? The perimeter of a triangle is the sum of all its sides, and in this case will be A plus B, which equals what? Well, A plus A is 2A plus B. But now I'm going to use the substitution from here, and instead of A I will write 5m, right? So I will have 2 times 5m plus 8m. What is this giving me? Well, 2 times 5m is 10m, plus 8m will make 18m. But the perimeter is known, it's 26 inches. So now I know that that 18m should be equal to 26. And this allows me to find m by dividing each side by 18. And it seems that m, that greatest common factor that each one of the sides are sharing, will be 26 over 18, which we can divide each one by 2. We can simplify it by 2, will be 13 over 9, right? 13 over 9. Now I know m, I can take it back, right? And find what is A. A will be 5 times 13 over 9, 5 times 13 over 9, and your side B will be 8 times 13 over 9. 5 times 13 over 9 will be what? 5 times 3 is 15. 5 times 1, 5, plus 1, 6, 65 over 9. And the other one will be 8 times 3, 4, 8 times 1, 8, plus 2, right, will be 104 over 9. And you are done. You can, you know, change this one into decimals or into mixed numbers. It's up to you. It depends on, you know, what you know, the test is asking you to, in which way you're required to answer. But if not, if there is no other, you know, specification on it, you are pretty much done. Okay, this is it.